Hi, good afternoon. Seymour here, streaming to you live from the beautiful Hudson Valley, New York. This is our HQ and main studio. And I just want to say, if you're joining us at magfast.com/live at the moment, there's a button underneath for the invest that's sort of permanently there at the moment because of the investment round that we've got going on. That's not the purpose of today. Today's just kind of hanging out and telling you a little bit about the way we see products and product um, design. It's going to be exciting because in a minute you're going to meet someone who rarely joins us in these videos, but is kind of a powerhouse behind the scenes of all of the work that we do here. I just want to spend like a minute on the philosophy before we bring in Philip. So about a week ago, was it 2 weeks ago? I think maybe it's 2 weeks ago today. We introduced the world to this product, MAGFAST Air Pro. And in fact, if we could just bring up the slide, yeah. So we introduced this product, MAGFAST Air Pro, and it's difficult to overstate how positive the the reaction has been to this. First of all, we're doing limited edition versions of it for folks who invest in the current round, and the numbers there have been kind of incredible. But we've also customer care have been trying to keep up with all the folks who are saying, when can I pre-order it? When can I pre-order it? When can I buy it? And I thought it'd be useful to just dig into, like, why do we think that is happening? And there's a single word that really summarizes why, and it's design. When we introduced this recently, we said, MAGFAST Air Pro is the new market heavyweight, and we said it's the heavyweight in three areas. It's the heavyweight in power, because this thing really does kick out more power than any of the competitors. This is one of our kind of strong competitors. 5 watts, that's 10 plus 15. So you have about 25 watts out, it maybe 40 in. We take 140 in because there's just so much more power going on here. So power heavyweight. It's a heavyweight. Maybe we'll do the demo later where I show you just how heavy the product is. So that when you take your phone off, it doesn't lift up into the air as so many of these lightweight other products do. But the weight is part of the design, and we think that this form factor is also a design heavyweight. And so, without further ado, I want to bring in Philip Spasser, who joins us from Europe today, who is the designer of this product. We worked on it together a bit, but he's the key force behind it. Philip, people are looking at it and looking at you and wondering, how did you do it? Like, how did it come into being?
Well, last year when we decided to sort of start from scratch again, gave us a perfect opportunity to sort of, let's try something new, something that we haven't done before. So when we started designing Air Pro, or just Air at that point, started looking at the competition, and pretty much everyone had the same sort of rough design of a tin stock with a little cheating like that. And we were like, we could probably do better. So we started looking at other competitors, started looking at other stuff. We were like, all of them kind of look the same and feel the same. So we feel like, let's find some inspiration to get something that's completely different.
Right.
And somewhere at that point, I was looking at espresso machines for some reason. Can't remember why. I don't really drink espresso. But one thing that I noticed is that a lot of the espresso machines go really heavy on design. Like most of the consumer grade espresso machines are pretty much the same, but not all of them look good, and not all of them you would want to be on your counter all day long. And that's kind of what we wanted to do with Air. Wanted to make something that you would not be ashamed to have in your living room, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, wherever. Like something that would look nice, maybe even make it a statement piece or a conversation starter. So it had to be different than everyone else. So we're looking at some espresso machines, and there were a couple that were interesting with all aluminum shapes, quite different from what everyone else was doing. So we started playing around with shapes, and let me just share my screen so we can just see how.
And I want to say, I mean, you're right. We wanted initially it was like, okay, something that you wouldn't be embarrassed to have around, and then we're like, well, maybe you could have something that you're truly proud to have, because I think that was what we noticed amongst the best espresso machines is this feeling of lust and desire, and oh my God, I want people to come into my kitchen and see this thing there. And the beauty of design, I mean, Target proved this kind of decades ago. Design itself isn't expensive. It's just it's expensive in sort of emotion and thought and care. It's not necessarily more expensive in production. But yeah, you were going to share a screen here, yeah?
Yep. Okay. This is how we play around. So Seymour and I started just playing around with shape. This is, I think, the thing that looks closest to the espresso machine we found. We're playing around with like a tilting chi port.
Yep.
And I gave up on that idea because Seymour has one and it's very annoying. We try to lift it up, the thing.
Oh, it's infuriating. Yeah, yeah. And it's also from a manufacturing point of view. Having something with a hinge, it's harder to make in the first place, and it's much more likely to go wrong.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Hinges are difficult. We started playing around with shapes. We wanted to make it something that's like basic shape, but it would look really good. So over here, you can see it's mostly cylinders. We tried playing some angles on those cylinders. Then came up with this idea, which is we take the cheek coil as it is, like we find the actual dimensions of the cheek coil.
So that's the wireless. So just to clarify, so that's the wireless charging coil with the magnets around it that is the heart and soul of any of these chargers, right?
Yep. So we took that, built it 30 degrees, so it's nice and at a good angle for when it's on your desk, so you can look at it, roll whatever. Then we projected that shape straight down onto the floor. That's kind of the basis for Air as it is today.
And for folks who aren't used to it, because there's a little bit of designer language in there. So what does projecting that shape down onto the floor mean?
I mean, it literally is like you're looking at it straight from the top.
While he pulls that back into view. So what he's saying is, if you look at it from straight above, in fact, we are looking for it straight above now.
Yep, straight above, and we just take it up and extrude it down.
Yeah, you just take that circle as viewed from the top and pull it down. So you wind up with an oval shape, but it perfectly matches the circle up at the top. And then we had the second one on a platform sticking out of the front there. Maybe we can zoom in on that platform out of the front. With a USB-C, because we do feature a USB-C. So we originally had the USB-C in that stalk on the front. To talk to that a little. But notice, I just want to say, I want to emphasize what Philip was saying. All of this is taking very, very simple, organic shapes that people are used to, are naturally pleasing. You know, like they're like simple shapes that you've been enjoying since you were a child, which is one of the reasons I think this feels so good to be around.
Yep. And because initially we thought we wanted 2 wireless charging coils, we needed to connect them somehow. So we came up with this little cylinder thing that would hold the second cheek coil, have a place for the USB-C on the front. And initially, the idea was to have the charging electronics inside of the Air Pro. But we quickly realized that while that is very doable, it would be very expensive for the consumer. And we figured like a lot of people already have power bricks that they might want to use. We just gave them the option, like you can buy Power Brick Pro from us, or if you have one, you don't need it. You can still use it full power, no limits.
Yeah.
And that also gives us now extra room on the inside, so that next year or in the next coming years, when we come up with some fancy stuff, now we have the room for extra electronics on the inside.
Yeah. And then the other thing we looked at was, if you look at, I think all of these here, so sometimes these in the design CAD, it can be a little bit difficult to see everything. But we had another concern about this. And do you actually zoom in on the one that's second nearest to us there? Because that's interesting. You can see we were playing with a kind of a sort of slightly how would you describe that? Like a wedge shape or something? Playing with that to give it a slightly wider base, and we were just playing with shapes. And eventually we decided that we liked the extrusion, the projection that Philip mentioned a little earlier, but we wanted more stability down at the bottom. because this
Yeah.
stability and weight is it's core to the essence of the product. You've seen me demonstrate it. You've seen me demonstrating it here. It's very difficult. I mean, I've shown you the weighing scales. We can put it on the scales again in a minute. In fact, I'll do that now as I'm speaking. But the weight is so. The weight and stability are so just kind of critical to the heart and soul of the product. I'm just going to unplug it there. I'm going to remove the database, which is the hub for data. That's a base for Air. We call it database. But this weight and stability was so important. The weight I've demonstrated over and over and over again, like this, by just putting our competitors' products on here, and you can pile 3 or 4 of them up here, and it still doesn't weigh as much as Air Pro. The weight is important, but also the stability. And if I show what happens if I kind of go, even with all of our weight, you can see it rocking a bit if I pull the magnet sideways rather than just upwards. But if I go over to kind of a typical competitor here, I mean, it's just the thing's just flying away with you. So we wanted a nice wide, heavy base, and we're going for about 1 kilogram. The total weight's going to be about 1 kilogram. That's 2.2 pounds. This thing is very, very substantial indeed.
Yep. So in order to make it more stable, our very first idea was to get like a nice thick circle from black glass and have that to be basically the base for it, and give it weight, give it more stability, and start playing around with what if we have the front wireless charging port be a half sphere, like a espresso cup essentially. That's kind of where we are with the design at this point. And you can see the USB-C was in the cup at this point, and we didn't have a Qi on the back, which comes in later. So see, here's charging a laptop with Air Pro. Then we figured like you would want another port on the back. Like you'll want to charge your phone, your earbuds, and your watch at the same time. It's gonna need a third port on the back. So we added one straight on the back. In this instance, it's still just like a cylinder straight out. You can see it here. And we still have the little cylinder on the bottom. Then we figured like we may make a big power bank. It can go next to your laptop. You might want to charge that one on the back. And now we kind of realize that the cylinder here near the bottom, that means that the entire power bank, the 27,000 milliamp hour power bank, would be resting on just like a single spot, and that's not going to be very stable.
Yeah.
So from then on, we moved to an all aluminum base. This kind of makes it easy to connect all of the parts, and now we have room for even more electronics inside. So now there's enough room to put 140 watt electronics that can handle all of that and distribute it everywhere evenly. And that's basically where we are today.
Yeah.
This is the shape where we are today. And let me share just one more thing with you guys.
Listen, I have it fully loaded here. 3 things charging all at once. My phone. I remember, just for anyone who's near here, I'm always astonished, but a lot of folks don't realize if you've had an Apple phone for the last few years, if you have an Android phone today, it either already has a ring of magnets in the back surrounding the wireless charging port, or you can pop a case on it. And this is this is an iPhone, but this generation of phone has the magnets built in, but this one doesn't. It's from a few years earlier. You just popped a case on with a ring of magnets, and that puts you in the game for this wireless charging. I don't know if you can see on, but the charging symbol just came up on the screen. So this can go on any of these. So this product is essentially for anybody who has a phone or a smartphone, and it has absolutely universal appeal. And we've been finding anyway that we started charging it. We've been finding that it's best used in kind of in multiple places. So wherever you are, you're in the kitchen, you're at your desk, you're by the bed. It's really fantastic to have these permanently in position, and boom, 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 they're available wherever you are. So I was just doing that to fill the time while you pulled up that next thing. Yeah.
So this is the latest CAD model that we have. And I see some people are asking, where does the weight come from?
Yeah, so I just want to just unpack there for a second. So we've been looking, Philip's been showing us this in like different pieces of software. This is the actual CAD means computer aided design, right? Aided design, is that?
Yep.
Yeah. So computer aided design. This is the actual software that instructs the tool makers, like instructs the factory, the tool makers, the exact positions and shapes of everything about the product. So when during our presentations, when we show you 3D images, those are designed kind of for photography, to show the product. This is not designed to show the product. This is designed so that a computer knows exactly how to make the tools that make the product.
Yep. And you can see this is the cap on the topmost cheek coil. See, here's the cheek coil. Here are the magnets, all of that. And if we remove this part, see how it's constructed. This block here is part of the weight. It's specifically in there to add more weight to the whole thing, because aluminum on itself has a bit of weight, and we've designed it to put like as much aluminum as we can without making it super expensive. So this shape has decent bit of weight from aluminum plus a steel block in the top. And also, if you look at the base of it,
we're kind of giving the secrets away a little bit here, but this is the if you want to affordably manufacture a heavy product, making it out of big solid materials is prohibitively expensive. I mean, we did cost it out, but I mean, just in terms of material, kind of aluminium, zinc, the kind of the alloys that we use, you don't want to know how much it was to make it out of a solid block. So this is the and the truth is, when you're holding it in your hand, you simply don't know, right? Your mind, your entire experience of it is as if it were solid, even though it's constructed in this way.
Yep, and you can see the base is, because the base needs to be very solid. It can't be thin aluminum that would bend with weight and all of that. It is a nice chunk of aluminum here. See the PCB board that holds all the electronics, solid chunks of aluminum on the sides, magnets for the hub. You can snap the hub underneath it and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think everyone would like to know that we approved tooling yesterday.
Yes, we have just approved.
We're just
approved tooling, sending the payment for tooling. Roughly how long will? So let's just step folks through the process. So there's this design that you just very kind of eloquently described, and you can see it's funny how, I don't know about you, Philip, but I felt like as we've described it now, it's like, how did we not realize that when we started out? It feels like we've come to the obvious place, but you have to sort of go through, you have to start somewhere, right? And you go, oh, hang on, what if we did this? What if we did that? And that is the creative process. And it's the result that matters. So the fact that we started with something that was kind of, clearly ridiculous is part of the process of getting to something that's so great. So we finalized this design. We finalized the design as far as the consumer is concerned, the user is concerned, quite a while ago now. But there's been a lot of refinement in terms of exactly how's the thing manufactured, how thick will the walls be, how will the weight be distributed, what's the circuit board like? Because we had a couple of months ago, we had this model, and this is just a solid block, right? We were just handling this. This does not function. This does not charge. It does have magnets. You can feel what it'll be like, but this is a non-functioning model, and we had this to just feel like, is this, show it to people, say, is this something that you would want? This non-functioning one is essentially single-handedly responsible for Frederick joining our team. When we showed it, you were there, right, Philip? When we showed it to him in Las Vegas, he took one look at it. He said, "This is the most beautiful charger." I mean, he was really, as he said, he's not easy to kind of impress after all these decades, and he was like, "Oh my goodness!" So that's the power of great design. Then much more recently, we got the working prototype. Some of you might have seen the video online of me picking it up from DHL, running downstairs when DHL arrived. It's performing beautifully, and so we released. We release tooling means we give the go ahead for tooling just within the last few days. But step us through the processes over the coming weeks, because I don't know about you, but before I got involved in this, I always thought, well, how hard can it be to manufacture them? You just design it, and then surely they can be making it a couple of days later, right?
No, no. Now that we've approved tooling, the tooling will take roughly 35 business days, I believe. That's what it said in the contract. Roughly about 35 days to get the tool ready. After that, we'll get the first off-tool samples, and then we'll start sort of making sure that the tool is done correctly, that all the dimensions match, all of that kind of verification. Now, also in parallel, while the tool makers are making tool, our factory will end up finalizing the electronics and the firmware, so that we make sure it works with any power brick, any phone, with just about everywhere. So there's no hiccup when you put your phone on there, it just doesn't work. That's not going to happen. We're working on that so that while the tool is making, we can be making progress on the PCB. So
PCB being the printed circuit board, which is basically the electronics, right? I just want to emphasize, you're saying work with any power brick, with sufficient power.
yes.
You can't run an electric fire off of a 6 volt, a little 6 volt battery.
Sure.
You need enough power coming in, and so this isn't an electric fire, but it's gonna need a minimum of kind of 60 or 70 watts to get everything fired up, even if you're only doing a small amount of charging. In order to make it great at doing lots of power, it's just not feasible to make it work with a little trickle of power coming in. It's going to need a certain. It won't always use a certain amount of power, but it's going to need to be able to talk to the power brick and say, "Are you up to the job?" And literally, they call it a handshake, right? I think engineers call it a handshake, where the two pieces of electronics, they talk to each other and say, "What kind of charger are you?" "Well, I'm this kind of charger." "Yeah, how much power have you got?" "Okay, good." And they handshake and they agree that they can work together. So our requirement is going to be. Do we know the exact number yet, Philip? Is it 60, 70?
Yeah, we're still working on the matrix. It might be as low as 45, but around 45, 60 is going to be like the minimum in order to just power the 3 wireless coils.
Yeah, and we'll make it as low as we can, but just realize you can't, physics is you cannot get out more power than you put in. You can't put in 40 and expect to get 25, 25, 25 and 100 from the front. You just can't. You need 140 for that.
Yeah, so tooling takes about a month and a week or so extra. After that, it goes to what we call the DVT stage, which is design verification, meaning we start getting working samples, we start finalizing the finish of it, finalizing the plastic finishes, any dress like logos, any what's it called?
Limited edition logos for many. I would even say most of the folks investing in this round have chosen to invest at that level. So that's great. Philip did mention plastics. Plastics are a minimal part of this product. It's basically these 3 surfaces here that have to be so that the wireless charging can take place. All of these surfaces here are all metal, and they feel it. Like you touch them and you can feel the kind of the coolness, and it's really, really something. Yeah.
Yep. And once we approve DVT, you'll find out about it, and you'll probably get a chance to pre-order. But that's a couple of months away from now, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, folks have been asking about pre-ordering. We are going to do that. We will do a pre-order launch. It's going to be something. We're going to do when we launch. We always do some great offers. If you have some MagBucks, thank you for sticking with us. If you have MagBucks, it's really going to be unbelievable. This is we're going to do something very special for folks with MagBucks, and yeah, stay tuned. I think if you're watching now, I think it means it gives us an indication that you're still pretty interested in what it is we're doing, because it's been a while after all of the challenges. We want to do something really special for you when we do the pre-launch on. It'll be on Air Pro and also database. It's a hub for data that's a base for Air Pro, so we're calling it database. And the interesting thing, and the investment round isn't an indicator of future sales, but you can kind of get a feel for how people feel about it. We did at the 1,000. If folks who invest $1,000 in this round are going to get a beautiful Air Pro limited edition Air Pro like this, and it's a pretty great perk. If you look at most of these kinds of things, they don't do a perk like that. Folks who are investing $2,000 or more get 2 of these and 2 databases, and looking at the numbers, we've never before seen so many people choosing to invest at the $2,000 level. So I think that database here is actually a bit of a sleeper product by itself. It's obviously its design isn't as distinctive as Air Pro because it's so very, very simple, right? It's essentially just a disc with a bit of thickness to it, but it is beautiful. You want to just do the overhead camera real quick, Philip, and we'll just give folks a quick look at this. I mean, look at the just look at the kind of the quality of the finish and everything we're working on here. You're able to plug in Ethernet in here, plug in HDMI there for screens, external screens, lots of power in and out, and then a couple of peripherals can go on there, and then around the other side on the front there's going to be these 2. So I mean, this live. Thank you, Philip. This live is all about design, and there aren't big design stories to tell about a database, other than it had to be a sort of perfect companion for Air Pro, and I think we've achieved that just by mimicking the shapes and the kind of even down to the kind of the radii, the radiuses around here. It's all matched so that the thing that they go perfectly together. Little fun. I sort of hinted at this in one of the other presentations. I think you were there for this, Philip. Rex, who you'll have seen if you've joined some of our broadcasts over the years. So Rex and I had a let's just say a spirited argument one day about whether one wants to have a hub like this on one's desk or kind of hidden out of the way. And spirited conversations are good as long as everybody remains civilized, because it was very important in the development of database. Yeah, we'll just take a couple more minutes, and then we'll wrap up. Because I feel like if you've got lots of stuff plugged in all the time, you probably want it out of the way so you don't have all these cables on your desk. But most of us don't most of the time. And then you want them on your desk so they're easily accessible. You want to plug something in for 10 minutes. You don't want to be going around underneath your desk. So the beauty of this design is it's absolutely perfect for most of us most of the time on your desk like this. But if you find that one of your databases you've permanently got a lot of stuff plugged into it, then you know what, it's got magnets. You can put it out. You've got that picture there, Philip, of how you had it on your desk?
Not the picture, no.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find it real quick here. But Philip showed us that he's got his database like directly underneath his desk.
To add to your point about Rex is the reason why Hub exists. Because one day while we were talking about Air Pro, Rex comes in and like, let's put a hub in the bottom of it, in the base of it. I'm like, maybe you want that,
Stephen,
maybe you don't want that. Yeah,
I want to give a shout out to Stephen Sprague as well, who was one of the folks who encouraged us to do it. And there's the picture. If you can just bring that up, Philip. So here's database snapped onto the leg of your desk, right, Philip?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's on my what's called standing desk. Goes up and down, so it has metal legs. You can just snap it on anywhere underneath the desk, and it's like out of sight, out of mind, and it just works.
Yeah, I don't know of another hub. I mean, it's a simple thing, magnets. I don't know of anyone else who has it.
Yep.
Hey, so I'm just looking at earlier on I looked at the clock and I'm like, okay, we're doing fine. We've only been here 7 minutes. But you can see how much we enjoy this stuff because it's now half an hour and we should probably wrap things up.
Sure.
Yeah?
I do want to answer Daniel's question. So Daniel asks, when do we plan on shipping this? Currently, the target is September, provided all of the testing stages go without a hitch. That's our current target. Expect all of your pre-orders, investment perks coming in, hopefully September, early September, late September, around there.
Yeah.
So far,
And
we
that's
haven't found anything that would slow down the timeline. So fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly from here on as well.
Yeah, I got to say, I feel very, very good about our manufacturing partners this time. That there's a very, very different approach and different feeling. We're grateful to all our partners in the past, but sometimes, as you know, we had significant challenges there. I feel very, very good about them. But hardware, as they say, is hard. And if something comes up, we'll let you know about it. That's the transparent relationship that we want to have. All right, I think, Philip, we should wrap it up for today. Thank you. Philip's actually been like driving the desk, so as the pictures move, show them how you move the pictures around, Philip. Go on, wiggle them around. There you go.
There we go.
So Philip's been doing that as well as talking you through the design. The button is underneath if you want to join us and become an investor in this round. All the information is there if you just follow that link. Never invest anything that you can't afford to lose. If you do that, you'll be joining about 5,500, getting on for 6,000 of our existing customers and investors. But only if it's right for you. But love to have you kind of join us on that part of the journey, or join us when we and join us as a pre-order customer when we do that a few weeks from now. Anything else, Philip, or should we just say thank you and goodbye?
I think thank you and goodbye is about right.
You got it. Thanks, everyone. See you
Bye,
soon.
everyone.
Bye. Did you know your modern smartphone surrounds its wireless charging point with a hidden ring of precision magnets either right in the phone or a case? Both. And this is a way more convenient way to charge. So what if you could unplug your messy old chargers and get these gorgeous, powerful new chargers for all your things? Introducing MAGFAST Air Pro, the most powerful premium chargers on the planet, bar none. Air Pros are power heavyweights. Look, when most stands top out at a total of 25 watts output, Pros take up to 140. Honestly, so you'll charge not just one, not two or three, but up to 4 or more devices all at once. Your smartphone, watches, power banks, all at the same time, all at full power. Air Pros are beautiful, iconic design heavyweights too. Look, awesome in your office, delightful in your den, bodacious by your bed, killer in your kitchen. You'll notice you want these new Airs everywhere. Air Pros are weight heavyweights too. Seriously, all the competitors just flip and fly. The lightweights. So Air Pros weigh in at over 2 pounds to last a lifetime and stay put when you go. And because laptops and some other devices still need a cable, you can charge them with fast, convenient USB-C right on the front. Now what if your new Air Pro chargers are modular and expandable with options coming like these stackable power banks, watch adapters, and more? Today, we're announcing this gorgeous custom-designed data hub that direct connects your display, instantly adds Ethernet, and plenty of peripherals like mice, keyboards, drives, cameras, and more. It's a base for data called Database. It takes pride of place right under your new charger or out of sight like this. And we're still planting a tree for every unit, over 640,000 so far. So these are the new market heavyweights. MAGFAST Air Pros and MAGFAST Databases. Gorgeous, powerful, modular, magnetic, and fast. MAGFAST Air Pro and Database. You want these heavyweights everywhere. So Air Pro and Air Database launch in retail later this year. So initially, There is only one way for you to be among the first to get your hands on these exceptional products, and it's this investor-only limited edition Air Pro. Join almost 6,000 customers and invest just $1,000 or more in MAGFAST during our spring 2025 equities offering. As a charter investor, you'll receive this gorgeous numbered engraved limited edition MAGFAST Air Pro. Invest just $2,000 or more and receive 2 limited edition Air Pros, each with Air databases, plus special additional perks for investors of $5,000 and $10,000 today at magfast.com/invest.